Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach Valentine,
I'm Michaela Valentine.
and in today's last call, we're going to be looking at Sushi Roll, which is a game that kind of started before we ever played Sushi Roll with Sushi Go Party,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of introduced us to that world.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I had watched a review on it because it was about the time that we were really liking and really playing Sushi Go Party quite a bit, and I think I had sent a video of it to my brother as well, and he actually ordered it immediately after watching the video on it. So that's how we first played Sushi Roll, I guess. What were your thoughts when we
Yeah.
first actually played it?
So it's hard because it's kind of skewed because we learned Sushi Go Party first, and so basically, if you know that game, transitioning to Sushi Roll is going to be super easy because not a lot of the rules change. It's just more of the mechanics of the game that change. But I think it is really teachable. Sushi Go Party can be overwhelming because there are so many options. But something that Sushi
Sushi Roll.
Roll does something that Sushi Roll does is that it takes down the amount of options. You know, you only have one dessert option. You can only get nigiri, the special green dice, the
I think
the
it's
purple dice.
I think it's the same amount of options. I think it's just easier, and the point scoring is a little easier to understand, maybe. Because I think it might be. Cause what do you have? You still have the nigiri.
Yeah.
And then the appetizers.
Yeah.
You have three of those.
And then there's the rolls.
I think it's still about the same amount, but I think it's just easier to visualize and see kind of what's out there.
Right.
As opposed to kind of the hidden information in Sushi Go Party, especially the first time you play it. But yeah, definitely, it's a game that if you've played Sushi Go or Sushi Go Party, that you could easily understand what you're trying to do. It's just, definitely a little different with the dice themselves.
Yeah, but not hard to teach. Your mom learned it. I don't know if she had played Sushi Go or Go Party at that time, but I think she really likes Sushi Roll, which is...
Yeah, it's... My mom doesn't play that many games, so it's one that, if she understands it, and I think she's wanted to play it even sometimes, so if that's the case, I think pretty much anyone can, learn it, and new gamers, people that aren't gamers at all, it's easy to teach, especially with that background in Sushi Go.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think the rule book itself too is pretty good at showing examples of the different dice and how you score them, and kind of how the round structure works as well, which is really nice. But yeah, the components themselves in the box.
I do not like the green dice. I don't like them. I don't know if it's the color that they used because the dice itself is green, but then the menu or the chopsticks are like yellow, and the way they're printed, I don't like them. I don't know, and I'm okay with the rest of the dice, but I don't know. I have no suggestions for what they could have done better because there really isn't anything you could do better because they took this tiny detailed picture and they put it on a dice, and so sometimes you gotta look kind of close at those dice. They have things color coded, which kind of helps on some of the other dice, but at the same time, like, I don't know, those green ones just don't fit. They're just ugly. Like the white nigiri ones are cute, the pink ones are cute, the red ones are okay, the purple ones aren't really my favorite either, but the green ones I'm just like, nah.
Yeah, I suppose I would agree that some of those might not blend in as well, but I still I personally really like all the dice, and I think they're very easy to tell apart as to what category each one is in and what you could potentially roll on each die. Like your own little tray does a great job of showing, your odds of what you could roll on each die as well, which, and the player
Yeah.
board is pretty thick.
Yeah, the player board is really nice. I didn't really realize what I was looking at the first couple of times I played, but because I thought, hey, you're matching your dice onto the board, but really it's just the guide to show you what your options are, which is not something that Sushi Go or Sushi Go Party does lay out for you.
Well, it kind of with the center part where you put those tiles in.
Yeah, but you don't know how many cards are in each hand when
Right.
you're dealing it, and
Right.
so
That's true.
that's what I mean is.
Mhm.
But I suppose if you really want to do a lot of math, you could figure out what your percentage chance were that something was in a hand for the round. But
And I think it has a nice little. I think it has a setup thing, or maybe it's end game scoring on the bottom of the
Yeah.
player thing, player board that kind of says what the extra tokens you have on the end of the game, what they're worth for points, and also what you start with. I'm not sure if it says how many dice you start with based on the number of players, but I think and those, and then the conveyor belts that you move the dice around on, and the dice bag, I think are all really good quality in my opinion.
yeah,
I think the dice are nice and chunky.
with the dice, I think I'm just spoiled because I like the artwork on Sushi Go Party so much. It's so cute, and so for Sushi Roll to, there's not a lot of opportunity for them to actually imitate that. So I think I'm just spoiled because I really like how cute Sushi Go Party is, and I didn't feel like Sushi Roll really captured the same cuteness.
Yeah. I
But
think
still
so.
really good. I think the colors, like Zach said, I think it's easy to tell what's out there, you know what's coming, kind of thing. So, totally.
Yeah. I guess personally, I think like the inside of the box, isn't great.
And the box is like kind of big for the game, isn't it?
I think so. I mean, there's definitely a lot of open space inside
like-
the box at the end,
Yeah.
which I don't know if they're ever gonna make an expansion to make it Sushi Roll Party, but there's definitely a lot of space in there, and it's just kind of awkward, but
It's kind of a lot. Like you pack it up in like our bag that we used to travel, and it looks like it's the size of a regular game. You get home and you unpack, and it's like, oh, I could have just grabbed the dice bag and these boards and put that in something smaller, and that would have been easier. But I think the rule book is bigger, maybe.
yeah, but that I think could have been made smaller too. But I guess I definitely prefer that personally over the tin that we got Sushi Go Party in. Cause I guess I'm not as big a fan of tins, so I guess if it was gonna be one of those two options, then I would take the big
Take
box.
the box.
And everything definitely fits inside the box very easily, so that's nice. And then, yeah, I think the components themselves are all really great components for what it is.
Gameplay on this one, I don't know. I like it. I do really like this game. I know it's maybe coming off like I don't, but it's hard because I compare it to Sushi Go Party, and if I'm gonna play a Sushi Party, or one of the games, I'm gonna go for Sushi Go Party every time. I'm probably not gonna ask for the Sushi Roll very often, unless we have been playing a lot of Sushi Go Party, in which case I probably wouldn't even ask for one anyway. For me, it's a good game, but it's also hard because you see what's out there and you want something, but then the dice, you have to re-roll them every time they come through, and so it's never certain as to what you're gonna get. And with the cards, you're not certain either, but something's in a hand, so it could come around. But with these dice, it might pop up, but if it doesn't, or if someone or someone's at the table keep taking the colored dice you need by the time it gets back to you, you're not going to have that option anymore, and you can kind of see your things just dwindling away. But I don't count the cards for Sushi Go Party, and I'd probably feel that way if I did. But
yeah, I personally think I think the game has quick turns, and picking the dice is pretty quick. But then at the same time, like you said, you can look around to see what dice are out there as to should I pick this? Am I going to be able to get a set of these to score the maximum amount of points on them, or is there only 2 of these dice out here, so it's not really worth going for, not really worth my time. But I kind of disagree on the dice themselves being able to change, I think that actually makes it a little more interesting because I think it makes it playable then at 2 players, whereas depending on who's playing in a game of Sushi Go Party or Sushi Go, once you've seen a hand, you're just going to keep passing it back forth, and if you're really good at the game, you're going to know who's going to win or have the most points in a round before it's even over. Whereas this, there's a chance your opponent may not roll what they need, and yes, it kind of, makes it tough sometimes.
But
if
you
need
could
one more,
roll what you need, and
but
then
you
someone
can, and then
come
it's a
with
stand-up moment.
No, but then someone comes with a chopstick because they're a higher player level than you, like, because, first, second, third, fourth player, and they will take what you rolled that you needed for yourself because they needed too, and it's like, all right then, I'll just take whatever stupid dice to get me off your conveyor belt. That part to me is so frustrating unless I'm the person doing the swapping.
That sounds about right. I think Sushi Go Party has some of that though too. I mean,
Yeah,
depending on which ones you put in the game,
Right.
you could have that where they could take.
There's only the one card that lets you take something from someone else's hand.
Right, but if you did it at the
Right
time, you could.
Yeah.
That could be upsetting too. But I think it also leads to potential stand-up moments where it's like I really need this one to be this because I don't have any re-rolls left, and then you roll it and I think it's more exciting than the cards going around. It's never. I don't get the same feeling out of yes, this came back around to me. I don't. It is still exciting, but I feel like I don't know, get a little bit more out of the dice rolling.
That's
But
okay.
but I think this one still, in my opinion, I wish they would make an expansion to it to have it comparable to Sushi Go Party, like add a few more of those options. But I can see how that might be a little difficult because the player board's already set up for those specific dice that are in the original game. So I don't know if they'd have to change up how that works or not. But yeah, I definitely like the dice drafting and set collection.
I will say this, and like I said, it's not that I dislike this game, I just have a preference for the other versions, but I mean, as far as a dice game goes, this has got to be one of my favorites just because, you're primarily using dice and just the way they use it is different than what I'm used to, and so I think that's really neat.
Yeah, and I think it's nice that, I think that's another part I like about the re-rolling is whenever you have a lot of dice in a game, you really want to just roll them as much as possible, and if they were just being rolled once at the beginning of the round, it would basically just be Sushi Sushi Go Party.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty much the same thing.
Right. I always spend my re-rolls real quick though. Like I never hold on to them because I'm always going for the gold, and I don't know where they go, but it's like the end of round 1, and I'm like, I lost all my menus.
Well, maybe you'd have them if you liked those green dice, but you just ignore those because you hate the colors.
I try to use them, but there's always something better I need to grab, and
Right.
so I can't. There's too many options.
Right, but
yeah,
I think that's the fun part about it. I think it's always a great game when you feel like I could take this or this, and not just always. Well, I'm always going to take this no matter what.
Yeah.
I think that's always a good sign of a really fun game.
Mm-hmm.
But
So, final thoughts, last call?
I would give this one a 7.5 or 8 out of 10, honestly. I think I just, really love the dice drafting and just how it kind of puts that minor tweak on Sushi Go Party. I really love that game as well, but I think just if I want something a little bit different than Sushi Go Party, this fills that niche perfectly. And it's also a really quick game for, there's a lot of games that don't play well, sometimes at 5 players, but I think this one plays pretty well at all player counts that you play it at. I mean, you may take a little longer with 5, and then it might get a little more cutthroat maybe. I don't know how many, we haven't played that many games with 5 players, but yeah, with 4 I feel like it goes about the same.
It depends on who you
game.
play with. Some people like to really scout the dice in front of them.
Right.
Talking about you, Jesse. For me, me, I rate this game a 7 because I do think it is really good. I agree a lot with what Zach says, but I have to rate it lower than Sushi Go Party. And so that's why it's fallen at a 7 and not a little bit higher, because for me it's just not the same feel. And I don't know why, if it's just because I started with Sushi Go Party and I just love that more, or if it's just because I like flipping the cards more than I like rolling the dice. I'm not sure, but I think it's a good game. It's a great play. I wouldn't recommend it over Sushi Go Party, but I would still recommend it as a game.
And I don't think we've played Sushi Go, but
Yeah.
I think it's basically the same.
We basically have
rules.
because it's in the
Right. It's
the
in
basic menu is Sushi Go,
Mhm.
and so that's an option in Sushi Go Party.
But I think like this one would be comparable to that. So
Oh.
I think the nice thing about Sushi Go Party is you can change it up every game as to
and
what you're
so many
scoring.
more people can play that game.
Right. Which I would agree that those points would make it a little bit better. But I think it's still definitely. I think I've seen it. It's pretty cheap, I believe, compared to some games of that size, and I would definitely recommend it if you're looking for a little bit something more to Sushi Go Party. It's a really fun game.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, if you've got any other questions on this game or
Thoughts?
disagree,
Do you agree with me?
who do you agree with? Vote
Leave
for
in
who
the
you
comments below. Michaela.
agree. No, we all know that you agree with me.
No.
But thank you for watching.
Yeah. Check out our games. We played this game, and we reviewed it. We got rules. So check out our other videos on this game. It's really great.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, guys.
See you later.
Bye.